Yes, the speaker.
Well done, well done. And I understand that people get very, very disappointed when we don't have hundreds of people, thousands of people out, and it's just a true believer. But you know what? We just have to keep going and going and going. We just have to keep going and going and going. Because climate change is a complete scam. COVID was also a scam as well. And I mean, people say, oh, you've watched too many YouTube videos, you watch. Wait, do I seem like a raging lunatic? Maybe a wee bit. But I just pay attention to what is going on and what is happening. And look at COVID, look at what they did, the way they locked people down, the way they injected people with an untested
The rain's off a wee bit.
shot, with so many things. And you know, so many people still gather every week trying to get justice for people that have been found or named. And that's what we're dealing with. We are dealing with pathological liars. Okay, the people that run this country are pathological liars. And they will do whatever they can to rape you of your hard-earned money in any way, shape or form. And that's what these low emotion zones are. Now, I was reading about this earlier. Even the press actually said that
I used to go over his stuff all the time.
are actually below the targets now. So, I mean, the quality of air here, you come to Glasgow, you go to any other city in the world, the quality of air here is infinitely better than any other city. So the whole thing is just a money-losing scam, okay? Because the councils don't get enough money anymore in council tax, they don't get enough money from the central government to fund the exorbitant salaries of many people who work at Glasgow City Council as well. Being no doubt about that, this is a shakedown. And a lot of people who look at this introduction will think, well, you know, it's not necessarily that bad, it's just stopping the cars. It will not stop with this. It will not stop. Very soon the low emission zones will be expanded to everywhere, not just your local outskirts of Glasgow, but every town and every village. And you see this with 15-minute cities as well. You see the way they're trying to keep people. What they want from you is to be like you were during lockdown. They want you locked in your house, eating bugs, and doing nothing. Are you going to do that? Are you going to eat bugs instead?
The rain killed the crowd, man.
So, really,
There was actually a good few people stopping and stuff.
If you drive a diesel car or an old car, you keep bringing it into Glasgow. Keep bringing it in, keep driving, and if they fine you, do not pay these fines. These are not criminally enforceable. It's garbage. It's a bit like parking tickets as well. It's all garbage. You don't need to pay them. You're not going to go to prison. You're not going to get your credit rating affected. Nothing's going to happen. Just don't pay it. And thankfully, in places like Birmingham and others, there is mass non-compliance, and that's how we win. Because this is a system that is propped up through lies of the mainstream media and lies of the regime. If enough people stop acquiescing to that regime, then the thing will collapse. And you know, why is there not more business people
recognise this?
Enraged about this? Because I was reading about a car garage,
I forget what
and they
party
estimate that a third of
channel
their
and all that
business
jazz, but
will be lost because of this. People won't be able to bring their cars in. So it's going to just kill Glasgow. And I was born in Paisley, a Paisley buddy. Has any of you been to Paisley recently? Is it a lovely, thriving, beautiful town? It is a disaster zone. And you know, I was looking at it, glorious buildings, Art Deco, everything. They're all lying there, they're all empty, they're all dead. And that's what's going to happen to Glasgow very, very soon. People aren't going to come in, they're just going to go to out-of-town shopping centres, and they're just going to drive there. And it's just killing the city. And it is this grim dystopia they're going to create. So look, the whole thing's a scam. And when you realise that, And people will say, well, you just say that about everything, because it is. Even if there is some truth in what they're saying, they will use it and they will lie about it to suit an agenda. You're dealing with con men and con women whose job is to lie to you. And again, I was thinking about this. We don't exist to serve the council. The council exists to serve us. And that's the same with the entire political class. But you've got a political class even that's unelected. Did anybody vote for Hamza Yusuf to be the First Minister of Scotland? Would anybody vote for Hamza Yusuf to be the First Minister of Scotland? Then you've got Rishi Sunak as well, who's the Prime Minister. Nobody voted for him. Yet we're all just supposed to think, and I'm sure you all feel the same, the most frustrating thing is Joe Public just, life's fine. Life's fine. Again, it's unbelievable. I don't know what it will take for people to awaken from their slumber, or if they will ever awaken from that slumber. But look, we just have to keep doing what we're doing. I'm going to be speaking at a rally on the 24th of June in Hollywood as well to call out the Ukraine war and what is going on there as well. It's funny, are they introducing more emission zones in Bakhmut? Are they introducing more emission zones there, or does that not matter? It's the hypocrisy. It's the utter hypocrisy of it that your life is got to be done. And what fundamentally is climate change? Look, they believe that because we live in the West and we are richer, we're better off, and life's been good for us compared to most people around the world. Now look, we do have good things in the West, but people work hard for them, and people are entitled to a good life. If they just turned around and said, look, you have to take your hard-earned wealth and give it away, no one would fall for it. But with climate change, it is a perfect scam, that you're responsible for it. And again, nobody talks about India or China because they say that you in the West have got the largest historical amount of CO2 emissions. It's just absolute garbage. And you know what the biggest garbage of it is as well is? What they're trying to say is that if they don't take action, global temperatures might rise by 2 degrees by 2100. I mean, I'm sorry, they used to grow grapes in North Africa. The Romans used to have vineyards in North Africa. The climate changed. Climate changes. The biggest cause of death is not actually warm weather, it's cold weather. And then they try and say that it's all this extreme weather events are all caused because of man-made things. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. Yet, because they control the media, because they control the government, because they control what's going on, they get to push it. We did the same with COVID, we did the same with the Ukraine war, we're doing the same with it. So you know what? Just stand true in your knowledge that they're lying and it's a scam. And as I said, everybody just needs to, if they are fined, not pay these fines. It really, really is that simple. Total non-compliance, don't acquiesce to the lies, and everybody just needs to keep fighting this battle as best they can. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your feeling. Well done again on coming out. Thank you. Who's next?
Can you hear me all right? Hi everyone. These new low emissions are coming out. It's not really about trying to do the best for the environment, because if it was, they'd start investing in making more available buses, cheaper prices on buses, higher quality public transport, trains and subways in general. But no, all it really is about taxing the poor to death, because that's all it really comes down to. Because anytime restrictions are imposed, but there's a financial burden
Thanks, mate.
imposed on those.
Nice one.
to get out of it. The rich will always find a way.
Fucking looked over here, seen I was doing this, and then stood right in
£10,000.
fucking
All it
front of me.
comes down
What a
to
dick
is
lad,
people
man.
that are struggling to get by will struggle to get by even more. And their freedoms for driving their cars to see their families, those days are numbered if these things come in. Because, like the previous speaker mentioned, it won't just be the current restrictions, it'll get more and more and more restrictive until it will be illegal to own cars if it keeps going on the current trajectory. I'm so glad that, you know, we got letters through about a referendum where people could engage in direct democracies in the areas where they live and they go, would you like these restrictions implemented? I don't remember getting asked about that. Does any of you remember getting asked about that? Any one of you? Well, that's strange. That's really strange. Well, I'm just glad the government knows what's best for us, because as we know, tyrants always oppress people based on the will of their own conscience, which is why they will do anything they can to oppress you and trample all over your rights. And currently, it's freedom of movement. And it doesn't really matter what your opinions are and what the claimed excuses are for their so. It really doesn't matter either way, because it's just about taking away more of your freedoms and making you more obedient to the government. Because they say exceptions apply. So what does that mean? It means if you agree with the government, if you ask the dear leader to get papers to go past these low emission zones without paying these fines, you'll be allowed through. And for the time being, maybe the emergency services will be allowed through. But we've seen in places like Oxford, shortly after implementing these places, we put these large boxes of compost and put plants and trees in. And what it does is it prevents the fire service from getting through when people are burning to death. Or it prevents the ambulances from getting by, from people who are dying or even having minor injuries. And we know that that's good for them, because apparently that's good for their health, clearly. And there's also lots of other businesses that are going to get destroyed from this. The few small and medium-sized businesses that weren't destroyed during the past 2 weeks or 3 years, as it's called, they'll be destroyed and trampled into dust. The larger companies will not have to pay these fines. And even if they did, they could afford it anyway. Now, the whole idea about these low emission zones or special emission zones, does anyone know where they come from? The theory of them, not the actual low emission zones, just the theory of restricting your freedom of movement. Does anybody know? Done a bit of reading recently, and found this book. And it's called The Ideal Communist City. That's strange, that. There you go, I'll show the cameras. Because I thought communism had never been tried, and it has never gone wrong. The ultimate comes down to, I think this is the direction it's going.
Sorry,
it's about government control, it's not about personal freedom, it's not about choice, it's definitely not about the environment. They just want to make sure you are poor, desperate, alone, miserable, and die in a hole somewhere, hopeless. You can speak out. It's not too late. Talk to your friends, your neighbours, your family members, even your friends. Go to the local council elections and tell these, because the council's putting these things in, tell them, no, we already pay the council tax for you to take out the bins and provide other various ancillary council services. Take that and fuck off and leave me alone.
James, hold it there. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been dreaming about this moment. I've been dreaming about reading to you a T-shirt as part of a speech. And now this dream is coming reality. Let me read this. James always has the greatest T-shirts. For instance, Thomas Jefferson, ladies and gentlemen. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny. Julian Assange, ladies and gentlemen! Every time we witness an injustice and do not act, we train our character to be passive in its presence, and thereby eventually lose all ability to defend ourselves and those we love. In a modern economy, it is impossible to seal oneself off from injustice. That's Julian Assange. Edward Snowden. In an authoritarian state, rights derived from the state and are granted to the people. In a free state, rights derived from the people and are granted to the state. That's Edward Snowden. George Orwell. George Orwell, ladies and gentlemen. 1984. During times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. That's George Orwell. Telling the truth is revolutionary. Okay. Dr. Professor Jordan B. Peterson. A world without freedom of speech is a world of slavery and tyranny. That's Dr. Professor Jordan Peterson, ladies and gents. And here is C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis, the great writer, wrote, "Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive." It goes on a bit, but that'll do it from C.S. Lewis. There's more, ladies and gentlemen. James in his t-shirt, on the back of his t-shirt, there's more. I'll read some of them, not all of them. You can catch James at these rallies other times. Okay then. Alexander Solzhenitsyn spent time in the Gulag in the Soviet Union, of course. Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote, "If we wait for history to present us with freedom and other precious gifts, we risk waiting in vain. History is us, and there is no alternative but to shoulder the burden of what we so passionately desire and bear it out in the depths." That's Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Okay, here's a good one from Leo Tolstoy, great Russian writer. Leo Tolstoy wrote, "Wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority share in it." Wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority share in it, ladies and gents. Leo Tolstoy.
Sorry, folks, but
Okay, that'll do it from the t-shirt. There's more, you have to catch it later because there's a few other short things to say, just very briefly.
I need to be somewhere.
Okay then, ladies and gents, please give it up for James with his t-shirt. Now, I've heard that some unknown people I never met have announced that some other people I never met reckon that air pollution has got so bad that they want you and I to obey the recommendations of some other people I never met, who say the best way to deal with this is that you and I have our freedom of movement restricted by new regulations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, unlike some other speakers today, and unlike many of you, I have an open mind about climate
I'll try
change.
and edit
I have an open mind.
later on and stick them up on the TikTok.
In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I would go so far as to say I am a big tree hogger, and many of you are too.
Go and hug a
I
tree.
know. I am an environmentalist, and many of you are too.